I was looking out the window here, and I remember I looked up, and I was looking through the front screen, and the IED detonated. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode, live from the Lair. Alright, we're coming up to the end of the Iraq stories here. And maybe I have a few more left in me, but I've covered pretty much almost everything. Alright, so we're going to talk about when I got wounded. Well, we went out on a convoy. We're going to Ramadi. Fob outside Ramadi. The 202 MI had one of their intel gathering teams working out of that area. And, we were, it was the end of August, and the 202 had been there just a hair longer than we were. Nobody from the chain of command of the 202 had gone out to interface with their people. They were just left out there hanging. And it was causing some fucking issues. Basically, these teams were fighting for resources, because they really weren't under anybody. They were fighting for, ammo and water and food, and it was just a shitty situation. And the 202 did not do what I did for my guys, which was, go see them on a regular basis, face to face, call them on the phone, find out what the fuck's going on, talk to the lowest guys, work my way up, find out all the fucking problems so I can keep everything fucking, flowing along. So, the guys were getting ready to go on this convoy. And I always made a habit of mine, if I could, was to, do a face-to-face with everyone that was going outside the wire for whatever reason. I just like to look them in the eye to make sure they're playing with a full deck. There wasn't any craziness going on. Well, on this particular day, one of the guys that was, I think it was a E4, I don't remember his name, but he just got some wicked fucking news from back home, and he's fucked in the head. All right, so, his team there told me some shit was going on with him. I went and looked him in the face, and, he just wasn't fucking, wasn't there. So I was like, okay, you're fucking riding the bench. Go do laundry, handle your business. I'll ride the gun for you. Now, this was supposed to be just we left at like 8, 9 in the morning, and we're supposed to be back by 5 or 6 o'clock that evening. It really wasn't a big deal. I mean, as a first sergeant, you really don't do a lot of work anyway, other than, walk around and make sure everything is working okay and put out fires. But it's not really that labor intensive for the most part, unless you're traveling, to different places. So I got on the vehicle, and I took my usual seat, which is right behind the driver, and everyone in that vehicle that day was lucky I did this, because it turned out to be somewhat important. Of course, the vehicle I was in was the vehicle with the Mark 19, which is the greatest casualty-producing weapons on the up armors, Humvees. And we had Sergeant First Class A was the gunner. I think we had Overcritical Detail Man is the OIC. He was sitting riding shotgun. We had another guy, I'm not going to say his name, but and then there was one other guy, and I don't remember who it was. And, we're working our way to Ramadi, and we had to stop for to refill our water, refuel, and, get a fucking status, a local status of what's going on the roads. And I remember we had to take some crazy fucking wazoo course to get there, because there was a couple of car bombs or cratering charges that had fucked up one of the MSRs. So we had to take this fucking fucked up Billy Goat fucking way around. I don't know. It's weird, because I remember we're coming down off this one dirt road, and we turn onto a, it's not a main MSR, but it's a hardball 2-lane. And we hook right, and then there's like 4 or 5 kids, fucking around, on the side of the road. And one of them looks up at us and just gives us the, So I'm like, fuck, here we go. I thought that in the back of my mind, and I probably should have told everyone to shut the fucking windows and button up, because shit was going to get lively. That was my first instinct. I did not, to my shame, I did not act upon it. I probably should have. But there's there's at least a couple dozen times while we were there where I did get I did listen to the inner voice and saved people's lives and my life. So, one slip by the wire. And we're doing about 60, we didn't really fuck around. We drove between 60 and 70 miles an hour. Now in that Humvee, that Upper Armor Humvee, we had like 3 boxes of Mark 19 ammo, several boxes of 30 cal ammo, and some other big ticket items like in the vehicle with us, and not a lick of it was fucking tied down at all. So if we did crash or roll, these big, 100-pound fucking metal boxes would have crushed everyone in the vehicle. It was like maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, and I was looking out the window here, and I remember I looked up, and I was looking through the front screen, and the IED detonated. And it threw up so much smoke and dust, for a couple seconds, it was pitch black. And the shock wave was so intense, it literally felt I was hit with one giant wet sandbag doing 30 miles an hour as it slammed into my body. Now, I used to fight professionally, so one of my better things was not really, it's a good fighter, but not because I had a whole lot of skill. Most of the fights I won because I was just tougher than they were good. I had a really good chin on me. And as soon as I got hit, I knew we just got fucking hit. And, my head was ringing, my bell was rung really, really bad. Probably the worst it's been in my entire life. I watched the gunner flop down. Everyone else wilted and just, they were knocked out. And I came over the back seat and grabbed the wheel. And I remember I held it for about a minute, maybe a little longer than that, because time got really kind of crazy right there. And I remember I'm coming over the back seat, and I'm holding on the wheel, and I got the driver, and I'm shaking. I'm like, wake up, lock your elbows. And he finally, does one of these, grabs the wheel, and, there was rocks, inside. My mouth was full of dirt. The gunner, Sergeant First Class A, I asked him if he's okay. He said he was. He tried to stand back up, flop back down, and he said he was done. He couldn't stand up. So I'm like, okay. I put him in my seat, and then I took the gun position. Okay, now, when I got up there, I saw what was going on. I saw a couple people out in one of the fields to my left. There was a palm grove about 600-700 meters out, and I really couldn't see any other targets. I was scanning the palm grove to make sure if anyone was going to pop up with RPGs and stuff, because I had this really gut feeling that if they were successful in taking out the vehicle that I was in with a Mark 19, they would have lit up the convoy. That's just my gut telling me. That's what I would do. So I was really contemplating smoking a couple guys in the field, but no, they weren't holding weapons, and nobody was dead yet, and nobody was shooting. So I didn't go fucking crazy and start fucking throwing rounds downrange, even though I probably should have squeezed off at least 6 to 12 rounds of Mark 19 into the Palm Grove, and if there was anybody lying in wait, get them with a shrapnel. But hindsight's 2020. Turns out that the Sergeant First Class A had a piece of shrapnel, and I believe it looked like a fish hook, and it went right through the middle of his thumb and out through his thumbnail. That explosive detonated about 4 to 6 feet, maybe 8 feet off of our front right bumper. And if they would have hesitated just a half a second more, it would have detonated under the vehicle, came through the floor, and it would be a wash. Because I don't care how tough you are, you're not walking away from that. The front right tire was shredded. Was running on it's a run flat anyway, but it was fucked. The front radiator was ripped in half, and the vehicle ran for about another mile and a half before it seized up. We had rehearsed this, so as soon as it stopped, we got up close to the other vehicle, and then we pulled off one of the tow straps that we had taped to the bumpers. So it took like 30 seconds to get hooked back up, and then we're going again. And we went directly to the nearest fob, which took about 15 minutes. It's weird because like my ears are ringing. I had a little bit of a blown pupil in my right eye. Face was numb. Fingers are numb, tingling. Little bit of vertigo, dizziness, and a lot of nausea. So I went to the aid station, and they basically said, "Yo, you got a concussion. You'll be fine. It'll recover." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. What are you gonna do?" But since the vehicle I was in was fucking deadlined, me and the other individuals in that vehicle had to stay on that particular fob for I think 3 days until they came to get us with a helicopter. And I believe that up armor, we got that one back like 2 or 3 weeks later, and then it took like a week and a half to get it fixed. All right, now I got some intel while I was stuck in that fob from one of the civil affairs teams that worked the area. They went out to the IED site, and they took some EOD guys with them. And it was estimated that the IED was somewhere between 40 and 60 kilograms. So that's like 80, 90 pounds to 120, 130 pounds of explosives. All right. That's a big boom. And if you do the math, everyone in that vehicle probably absorbed somewhere between 3 and 5 times the amount of explosive force needed to instantly kill you. Why nobody got killed, I have no fucking idea. But that's the way it went down. Now, that was August 28th. Now, when I got back, I continued on my duties as usual, and I started developing like really bad neck pain, back pain, really bad ringing in my ear. I was having cold sweats at night, nausea. I was having a hard time processing things. I was operating a lot slower than I should be. And, I was responsible for 159 dudes. I had to fucking suck it up. So that's what I did. But at the end of the day, you're just a fucking walking piece of meat. All right. People like to think they're more than the sum of their parts. And some of the times in your life you are. But at the end of the day, you're still walking around in a very finite meat suit. So it was Halloween morning. I woke up and the left side of my face was drooping. I had discoloration in my tongue and my gums. My teeth were numb. I was clumsy on my left side. I could barely stand up and walk. There was weakness on my left side. and you're having stroke-like symptoms. That's serious fucking shit. So I jumped in the fucking Humvee with the driver. We went to the local TMC on sick call. They told me that I was having a panic attack. I'm like, okay. Well, this isn't my first fucking rodeo, and I'm not having a panic attack, so fuck off. Got back in the fucking Humvee, and instead of going to the TMC on Lair, we went to the one on Victory. Now, fortunately for me, the doctor who was running that TMC, the lieutenant colonel, was a neurologist in the civilian world. So as soon as I walked in the door, he was like, oh, fuck. He sat me down and fucking like, oh, dude, you're fucked. You know, I was hyper-reflexive. I had a blown pupil in my right eye. You know, he could see the discolorations. And he's just like, you had some kind of stroke event there, first arm. And this is serious shit. That's scary-ass fucking stuff right there. I'm just going to be honest. If somebody would have said, hey, you know, Pop, we're going to take this monkey wrench and we're going to break your arm. Or you can get a TBI. Which would you prefer? I'd take the broken arm. Because I know they'll throw a cast on it and I'll be good to go in 6 to 8 weeks. And then, 8 to 12 weeks after that, I'll be fully recovered. It'll ache in the cold every now and again, but fuck it, who cares? But when the thinking meat between your ears and behind your eyes that makes you who you are is damaged to the point where it's starting to fucking have some serious fucking problems, that's some scary shit right there. All right, that's some come to Jesus moment stuff right there. So, it is what it is. Now, that was basically Halloween. I came back on the 2nd. They kept me in the aid station, and they took me. Actually, they kept me in the aid station for a day. I came back to Lair, and this lieutenant colonel is like, "You're getting medevaced." But apparently, back then, it was a whole fucking crazy nut roll to get medevaced, unless you had ropes of blood shooting out you. So I had to go with Doc Johnson on the fucking Rhino to the green zone, which was all kinds of crazy, to go get a fucking CAT scan and then talk to a full bird colonel down there who told me that I was having a panic attack. Yeah, okay. But the lieutenant colonel had written up the order to me go back to Germany, Langstuhl, to get fucking, checked out. And if I got the Langstuhl and they're like, hey, you just had a concussion or whatever, it's a panic attack, then they would just send me back to my Iraq. Well, that's not what happened. So I literally, waited around for them to make some kind of bureaucratic decision to get me medevaced out of the country. And while this is all going on, the second Fallujah fight is going on. So they're swamped, they're inundated with all kinds of new wounded, which, in my opinion, was fucking stupid. Because there should have been only one Fallujah fight, not two. So when they had the second one, all the people who fought in the first one got fucked up and killed for nothing. That's just my opinion. So they, I packed up one rucksack. I took my computer bag with me. That's all I was allowed to take. And I remember I packed everything up. Vehicles waiting outside for me to go to the aid station, and 4 hours later, get on a bird, and I'm going to Langstuhl, Germany. And I remember I walked in old Worthless's fucking office, and I looked him in the face, and I said, listen, when these boots hit the United States, I'm going to end your motherfucking career. I just want you to know what's coming, because I don't stab anyone in the fucking back. You fucking piece of shit. Sir. And I left. And that was how that all went fucking down. So, and I'm still suffering from the effects, even to this day. I sucked it up for a long time. I was trying to do the 40 years instead of 33. But, the migraine headaches and shit, I can no longer control them with Excedrin or Motrin. So, once I went in there, then they found some other shit that was going wrong. And they said, hey, you're done. 33 years, you're good. And I got medically retired. Here I am fucking I could Fort living room fucking talking shit, making videos, and getting ready for the next chapter of my life. All right, gentlemen, that's the wounding story, and I'll talk to you later.